All right, welcome everybody to the fifth game of the fifth week of the Flesh and Blood Competitive Team League series with the Hyperloops against Team Hometown TCG Ascent. This is Andy Modell. Today I'm joined by Joe Colin.
Hi.
And here we have a very unusual matchup. Over with Nick on the left, we have Viserai Runeblood. These are pre-ban rules, so he could still be using Bloodsheath Skeleton. But on the right, Shane Martin is showing an Azalea Ace in the Hole. This is one of those heroes that has traditionally always been at the bottom of those tier lists. Let's see, Joe, do you think Azalea could possibly do going into Viserai?
Zaylia has a lot of options here, but first let's start with I did not even realize her name was Ace in the Hole. I've never, I think, read any of those names. I didn't even know Viserai was Runeblood. After you said it, I was like, Ace in the Hole, what's that?
Yeah. The adult heroes get adult names. Or fun nicknames at least.
Oh yeah, Chain Bound by Shadow. Nah, let's play with 20 health. All right, so arrow wise, the things that could be happening here, on key turns, red in the ledger makes it so that only one action can occur. And then Remorseless, for every action that Viserai would play, he would take a damage. So those two cards, in combination with things like Sleep Dart, can cause some problems if chip is allowed. Sleep Dart not so much on like the go off turn, but throughout the course of the game, if he's trying to keep cards and the Sleep Dart's coming, it becomes problematic because he won't get as many rune chants.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Azalea, basically, the goal is to try and use these arrows that have lots of disruptive effects, though they are a bit more difficult to pull off due to the nature of having to get them in Arsenal. And Azalea doesn't have that Voltaire strike twice, which is a significant advantage, I think, for Lexi in comparison.
As far as swinging multiple times, yes, but Azalea generally doesn't play that way. Azalea tends to be very tall instead of wide. So you'll see pumps like Nimbleisms or glides, things like that. And the big thing here is that Azalea has the ability to kind of shift out that arsenaled card. And if she does find an arrow in the process, it's going to gain dominate. So it does make it a bit easier to connect. What'll really boil down to is Viserai packing things like unmovable or additional, zero cost defense reactions.
Yeah, so one of those combinations of cards that really works well for Azalea is that crossbone or crossbone skull wrap, whatever the legendary thing is. We're not seeing that legendary headpiece here today. We're also not seeing New Horizon that would give her an extra arsenal slot. It looks like she's just using the arcane skull cap. Do you think the extra utility by some of these other ranger headpieces just isn't worth what those extra defense could be?
The cross wrap should have been usable, just because peeking for the opt means that it would give him extra freedom to flip out into like just better attacks sometimes if he had like a terrible arrow. But I guess he could be concerned about Viserai going mid range. In mid range, Viserai tends to swing for four. So a four connect, the skull cap plus a three block is definitely going to put him in a better position. And he has no other block pretty much because you're not going to block with the tunic. So it could make reasonable sense that that's why he went that way.
Yeah, that does make sense. Now, another card we're seeing here on the Viserai side is that Arknight Shard. Viserai specialization hasn't really been in a lot of those Viserai lists due to the fact that it doesn't help out with the Sonata. It doesn't count as either an attack or a non-attack. But even though he is running Bloodchief Skeleton, it did allow him to get the extra rune chant off that one grasp ability. Question for you. Grasp costs an extra for each rune chant you control. When you pitch the Arknight Shard, it creates a rune chant. Do you get to still pay only two, even though Arknight Shard is going to give you that extra rune chant?
You should be able to just because the way it's costed. So you have to pay two for it, and the Argnite Shard will trigger after. So it's grasped. Pay for it, put the ability on the chain, and then the Argnite Shard goes on the chain after. So you had already paid for the necessary cost at the time.
Yeah, makes sense. So that's a very strong turn one combo then, being able to pitch that and get two rune chants basically for the one card there. Here we have Become the Arknight coming in, discarding a Mavrian Skies, meaning he's going to be looking for an attack action card. and that is a Vexing Malice, which he is playing. So it definitely, if he were going for that OTK strategy, we'd probably be seeing him save up the Rune Chance here, not allowing Azalea to filter her hand. But here we do have 1 damage coming in, followed by, or 2 Rune Chance, 1 damage, and 2 Arcane. So a very mixed attack right here.
So realistically, I'm not sure why they did it this way or how much skill is involved, I guess. Maybe they decided that, well, because he has Arcane Barrier from the bracers.
That's right.
Because generally you would grab Swarming Gloomveil here. You'll have made 3 Rune Chance, so it comes in for 4. And then you have 1 resource left to still swing with Thorn after. It's a much higher damage output than spending the 1 resource on Vexing. And this is where Dappy pitches a blue, it looked like, and blocked all 3, and then blocked the Endless. So he should take 1 chip there from the Vexing. Swarming theoretically would have been a higher damage play. I don't know why that occurred that way.
Yeah, and it looks like my only thought is that he was trying to get that extra arcane damage through, but the sword, as you were saying, would have been able to do the same thing.
Correct. It would have just been a bigger Vexing Malice. He wouldn't have got to keep the Rune Chant at the end, but he would have threatened 4 immediately, which was bigger. It would have taken 2 cards in order to block it fully, outside of a defense reaction, which usually isn't expected. And then you'd be coming in for 2 and 2 with the 2 Rune Chants. So even if he pitches a blue there to block the 2 Rune Chants and 1 from the Thorn, he'll take 1 chip. He'll have to throw all 3 cards away right away and not be able to kind of sculpt his hand in the next round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now,
so we get an Azalea ability here.
Yeah, and it looks like that's revealing a Searing Shot, which is going to have Dominate and get the boost from Nimblism over here. So if he plays that, that'll be a 7 Dominate that pinches for the extra damage at the end.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious if he can spend that additional resource somewhere.
Yeah, it looks like
he make the best benefit from here. Like, he probably doesn't have another pump because I think he would have windmill slammed it down.
Yeah, it looks like he's thinking about that card in hand, whether to save it or to use it. Oh, and it's an Enlightened Strike right here.
I think he's going for the 5 go again here and just trying to push damage.
Yeah, that'll actually be a 5+3 from Nimblism. So instead of putting that bonus on the dominated attack, this is going to be an 8, presumably with go again.
Yeah, I think it's easy. It's an easy decision here that's go again. He's playing Death Dealer to kind of make up for the lack of having a real weapon that attacks. So as long as you can continue to use all of your cards and resources, you can get plus ability and become like a normal hero at that point. So we get a 3 block here. Takes the 5. Yeah. Now we see the Searing Shot.
Yeah, and here is that Swarming Gloomveil going in. One of those cards that, if it does get into Graveyard, isn't the end of the world for Viserai. If he's running a Rattle Bones, he can keep bringing that back.
Indeed, but that's where it gets even weirder, like that this first play wasn't to go grab it.
Yeah.
Because it would have set him up.
Yeah, and we see a very early block with Grasp the Arknight. I guess wanted to save the 3 life for 1 block there.
Is there a reason we don't have the token on the Grasp?
I don't see a reason. He didn't take any life, any hit from that, right?
He blocked. Didn't he block the Searing?
Yeah, I think the Searing was fully blocked.
I forget what the rules are for table stuff, if we're supposed to tell him to maintain board state or what.
I'm not sure what the league requires in general. There he goes.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. In general, it's up to us to let the players do something, but if there is something egregious, we can butt in.
Yeah, it's generally like, let's say it's something... Yeah, yes, pretty much egregious should be the word for it. But like, yeah, if they miss something that's mandatory and they're not supposed to miss it, then I think we're supposed to butt in. But in general, I hate doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not putting a counter is like, what? Well, generally, when we talk about Viserai, since he's gone now, I don't mind giving away this tip. When you count the Rune Chance as additional life to really determine where you're at in the game. Because normally you'd be like, okay, Azalea's attacking, you know, theoretically you're behind here because you're short by 4. But the way we always did it was counting Rune Chance's life. So essentially Viserai is currently at 41. and Azalea's at 39. So it's really like the game kind of still just started. But Azalea is behind in the armor race. Starts that way, but we'll see if that matters at all.
Yeah, the Rune Blades can really get that big fridge going on. All right, here we see a Snatch coming in. This is just raw, no pumps before it, nothing currently to indicate go again. There are Snapdragon Scalers, though this might be early to throw those off. And I don't know if maybe Azalea is running something like Razor Reflex or whatever that would be able to get it that go again. It's a bit suspicious seeing it here when Azalea still has 3 cards in hand.
It's definitely very suspicious. I'd say where it's like 100% shot, it's one of Snap or Razor Reflex here. So we do get the Razor Reflex. It's a yellow one.
Yeah, so that's signaling that he's probably running at least 3 reds on top of that, right?
Unknown about that. It could be a resource thing, but what we did see a Scar for Scar get pitched there. So at the very least, I would expect there to have been a 0 cost attack in his hand. He didn't load the bow initially, so he probably just didn't have an arrow.
Yeah, and choosing to end the turn just with an arsenal. That is the thing about those arrows. You gotta load them and you gotta fire them, and it can mess up tempo.
Yeah, but he had a card in hand, okay? And he pitched the Scar for Scar, which could be swung just as a natural 0 for 4. So what was the card he kept instead?
That's the question.
Yeah. Because arguably you would have wanted to probably arsenal it, maybe? I guess he didn't want to go into the subsequent round. If his Razor got blocked with a Scar for Scar, but immediately I can't think of what he would have tried to keep in the arsenal besides maybe a random pump. I would have much preferred to have the Scar for Scar swing right after. If you connect, cool. If you miss, then whatever, it's fine. And Viserai seem to go completely towards the OTK thing here now.
Yeah, this is something that you see sometimes. They begin the game going very aggressive and then realize maybe they do want to slow down, build up some rune chants after they've sort of seen what their opponent is trying to do. My guess is that Nick has not played against too many Azaleas with Viserai, so starting off just trying to put in some damage as a feeler.
Could also be hand-based on what was available. Ooh, we see a Command and Conquer revealed, so we have a Rabble coming in for 7 go again.
We do.
I still want to know what's arsenaled. Like, what could that be? Is that like another Razor?
It might be, or it could just be something that he's planning on getting rid of. We have that Command and Conquer there. Azalea's ability, correct me if I'm wrong, could put that right into the arsenal slot and then get fired right after this.
Correct. That can definitely occur. So thinking back, a red Razor wouldn't make sense because he would have been capable of pitching the yellow Razor on the Snatch to play the red one, and then if he drew an arrow, he would have been able to load it and then draw another card. So I think Razor's out of the equation.
Yeah, and it looks like we're not going to find out anytime soon what that face-down card is. Maybe we'll see if we can get Shane to tell us when the game is over.
There goes a yellow Sleep Dart, though.
Yeah.
That's a bit see.
Not having access to all the elemental arrows, Azalea's card pool is considerably limited compared to Lexi's. So I'm not too surprised seeing Sleep Dart showing as yellow. It is a more powerful card in general thanks to its ability, especially against a player like Viserai who's going to be trying to generate as many rune chants using Viserai's ability.
Alright, so we have an Oath here, and then the Read the Runes. The Read the Runes is very good here. So we're at 15 runes.
I think this is the 3rd red Read the Runes we've seen, is that correct?
I have absolutely no idea.
Alright, well we've seen at least 2 guaranteed.
Well, I know Azalea is really far behind, but we did see a Sonata block, and we've seen 2 become the Arknights already. We could get into a situation where he may not actually see another Sonata.
Yeah, that is the risk when you're trying to combo off, making sure you have that combo piece once you're ready to.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. Was the ulti of the Arknight the one that was arsenaled?
I'm not sure. It was probably if the Read the Runes came from hand.
Yeah. Actually, I don't recall. So we'll see what's happening here, but so Dappy's really limited by the number of times he can attack. I'd also be interested to see if he was running Bolt and Shot. I don't even know. Can he even run Bolt and Shot? Can Azalea run Bolt and Shot? That's the question.
Yeah, bolting shot, one of those new Everfast arrows. I'm pretty sure is completely generic for Ranger.
It's entirely completely generic, and he's running enough pumps where I'm surprised if that's not in deck. All right, so he starts off with the Flock of the Featherwalker, but he has to pick. Oh, he removed the Tunic, so he's getting a Quicken token here, and this is likely going to get snapped, if not Razor Reflexed. That is a back alley break line being revealed.
Oh, wow.
For those of you that don't know what that is a 1-cost 5 attack generic with 2 block. If it's put into any zone face up from the deck, you gain an action point.
Yes, meaning so if Azalea's ability.
Exactly. Azalea's ability. There's several other ways to do it, but most of them are not very good. Azalea's the easiest way to abuse it.
Yeah, and also just an apology to everyone watching the stream. My computer froze a little bit there. You didn't see it, but I'm one of those rolling beach balls over Tabletop Simulator. So Joe's commentary was accurate to what was happening, but hopefully I'll be able to keep my computer healthy for the rest of the game.
Got you. So we see a sink below here, putting a 4-block in front of the Flock, taking 1 chip.
Yeah, and these Snapdragon Scalers, he's really going to go wide this turn.
Yes. So we should see a load up here. Okay, we see a Feign Death get pitched. A Sleep Dart gets put in the Arsenal zone, and a draw. So 3-card hand. We have 2 attacks coming in. What are they going to be?
Yep, that is the question.
And no Arsenal, so he could dump his whole hand here to block. All right, Sleep Dart comes in, which really doesn't do a whole ton in this current scenario, because the odds are that he's not going to keep a 3-card hand to try to generate resources. We've seen Read the Runes already. It usually means that he might block with 2 cards and then Read, or block with 1, Read, and then Arsenal. But as you said, he had cast a bunch of Read the Runes already. There's not much more he can do here to generate a large amount of resources without an actual hand.
Yeah, and over on Shane's side, following the Sleep Dart, he could use a normal attack action, not an arrow, or he could use his Bullseye Bracers to get another one into Arsenal. But I think you really want to save those Bullseye Bracers against Viserai. Probably better to use the Arcane Barrier.
We now see an Unmovable.
That's exciting.
Unmovable has been cast versus a 5 damage Sleep Dart. It was blocked with the Skull Cap. I think he was afraid of a brain fart here. He was afraid of losing his ability, so that kind of indicates in my mind that he might try to Sonata here. But Knock the Arrow?
Yeah, so he's got Knock the Death Whistle here, which is putting a card on top. Azalea's ability, putting that into Arsenal, and now it's going to get Go Again and Dominate, I believe, from Azalea. No, I'm sorry, just Dominate. The ability on Azalea has Go Again. We're not talking Starvo.
It's a red in the ledger, so what happens is the Viserai will be limited to 1 action on his turn. He takes the entire red in the ledger, and it looks like he's just going to Arsenal here.
Yeah, that's a turn you write off when you have just the 1 card, nothing to pitch, not worth swinging the sword, losing those rune chants. And if it is the Sonata that you need to go off, you have it in Arsenal, so that's not too much of a concern, delaying by 1 turn.
Not much, but there is a concern now if a Command and Conquer comes about. We see another Sleep Dart here.
Yeah, we see a blue 1 pitch this time, so Shane might be running all 9.
He pitched a blue last round also when he did the red in the ledger.
Mm-hmm.
The concern here is how is he going to get Go Again? Okay, he immediately just flips it off with Azalea. He doesn't want this. Doesn't believe it's useful. He's going to try to hit something. He finds a Snatch. Seeing as he didn't swing with the Sleep Dart, I'm kind of the assumption he doesn't have any way to give Go Again here. And he was looking for either a break, a back alley, or something along those lines. But there shouldn't have been much he would have been able to go for unless he had a Sikkim Shot.
Yeah, and
Yep.
we are seeing that Command and Conquer. So something with Go again before this to draw cards out of hand, let this through with the arsenal, would have been a strong strategy. Command and Conquer, though, we've seen unmovables, we've seen sink belows. This is definitely drawing those non-defense reaction cards out, and 2 blues from the Viserai player's hand is not inconsiderate, or it's not nothing, but it's not really, I think, the best trade on Shane's side.
I think the best we can hope for here is for a Sonata to try to go off right now, which would be considerably early.
Yeah, Viserai right now has, what's that, 12, 15 rune chance. Normally they try to get 18 at sort of the minimum, or I've heard as a rule of thumb, like half the opponent's life.
It depends on what the opponent's playing, usually. Like a Guardian or big base with armor, if you haven't actually dealt damage, then yeah, you're trying to get a big amount. I'm really hoping, like, because I'm rooting for Shane, obviously. If he goes off here, this way Shane can actually block with multiple cards, and then, toss that snatch at him in the subsequent round and see what happens.
Yeah, Snatch costing nothing from the arsenal does let you use the whole hand, basically.
Yeah.
So if this is a go-off turn, that would probably be in Shane's favor compared to what it could be later in the game.
Yeah, I forgot to ask, do you do this on a delay?
The only delay that we have on the stream is what naturally goes from my computer to YouTube.
Okay. Definitely consider like a 30-second one.
Well, here we do have...
And a Swarming Gloomveil.
Yeah, we have Mordred Tide into Sonata, so that's going to give 2 rune chance there. Swarming Gloomveil going to hand, just going to shoot 1 arcane damage at Shane here, but using the Sonata signals that there might be that other one in Arsenal, as we have predicted.
Maybe, which is a major concern. Oh,
no,
nope.
And it's just a Rune Blood incantation.
Yep.
Which timed this way, thanks to the Mordred Tide, this turn is going to generate like 4 rune chance.
No.
For Nick.
Just 2.
It was 2 from the Sonata and then 2 from the Rune Blood.
Oh, you mean 4 total? But the way you said it was gonna make 4.
Yep. For the turn 4.
Yeah.
Plus an additional 1 every turn now for the next 3.
Correct, and he is at 19. He's still maintaining that above 40 between his life and the number of rune chance he has. So we are reaching critical mass soon as far as going off. The only thing coming up though is that 2 Sonata are already gone. 2 Sonata and 2 Bugcom the Arc Knight are already gone. We saw for a fact that he didn't have the Sonata set, so he went into this round with fresh cards. The question is going to be, is that Sonata somewhere for him to cast? We see a red in the ledger make its way in via the Azalea ability, and it does get cast with Dominate.
Yeah, with Dominate, looking at equipment, the only block remaining on Nick's side is the last one from Bloodsheath Skeleton, which he's definitely not using, and then the Spellbound Creepers, so he'd have to have a defense reaction in order to block this out fully. Looks like that wasn't the case.
So we have Red and Ledger active. We will not be seeing a Sonata this round. Or much of anything. 1 single card to save the world. We see another Runeblade Invocate. Jesus.
As far as single cards to save the world work, that's 3 additional rune chance over the next few turns. So it's nothing right away that'll make it the most powerful turns next turn. But if he's still searching for that Sonata, then he's in a good place to be looking right now. 2 rune chance a turn.
He's already reaching critical mass. He's at the point where in 2 rounds he'd be able to actually just kill a Guardian off of going off. But he does only have 30 cards left in deck. I don't know what the counts are at this point, but like I said, there's only 1 Sonata and 1 Become the Arc Knight left. We see a back alley Break Lane get Azalea ability'd in, so we are going to have an additional action point here for Azalea.
Yeah, that's exactly what Azalea is looking for. Though on the other hand, Azalea has used 2 red in the ledgers, probably the most powerful anti-combo attack she has, and now there's only 1 of them left. It's really about trying to pull that off when she can right now, so she can get enough damage to get through before that combo.
We see a Sleep Dart get pitched. This likely means that Azalea has access to an arrow in hand to arsenal and draw. Or to load up, I guess is how it's better to say. So we get a double block here on back alley Break Line. Trying to preserve health.
Yep, and that arrow will be loaded in, the red sleep dart.
Yep. The red sleep dart not as useful here, though. I think I'd like to see... Oh, we see a rabble come up now, and it reveals an endless arrow from the top. Rabble for 4.
Mm-hmm.
So the big thing here is okay, so rabble gets 3 blocked, takes a single chip. I was going to say, I would have liked to have seen, like, sleep dart into, like, a razor, into, like, a snatch or something, but this is fine. Sleep dart gets 3 blocked, and takes 2, so he's under that, but none of that's going to matter. He's just going to tick up here.
Yeah, Nick using his whole hand there, efficiently blocking, though getting rid of that Mordred Tide making the go-off turn even more powerful.
Yep, we're at 22 rune chance. Does he have the Sonata? Does not.
Not yet.
Passive round. Or he could just be waiting around. We now have 26 cards left in deck.
Yep, 26 on Viserai to a 36 on Azalea, but I don't think either of these players is going to be decked out this game. It's basically
it's not about decking out. It's if he has to go like 3 more rounds without a Sonata, he'll be down to about 14 cards, and that becomes problematic when you're trying to go off. If you don't have enough combo cards left, enough go again, or enough of each of the types, you could brick pretty heavily. We do get a Razor Reflex here on an Endless Arrow, and there is no unmovable to stop it. So the Endless Arrow hits, gets to go back to hand. He has 2 resources floating, so we're likely to see this get reloaded up.
Yep, Endless Arrow coming back.
Yep. Will we see more Razors?
Yeah,
Can you imagine where we throws again and Razors again? It's like, oh...
Yeah, we know he's running reds and yellows of those, but he wouldn't be able to get that Endless Arrow back into Arsenal, at least not with the bow, if it were to have go again somehow.
Correct. He could do it with Bullseye Bracer, though.
He could, at the cost of that Arcane Barrier, though.
Correct, but at this point, Viserai's at 11. He should be trying to end his life. If he can get him low enough, he could potentially rip off a huge dominate round to win if the Sonata's still nowhere in sight. Something that concerns me though is that the Endless Arrow wasn't blocked at all initially. We see another Razor Reflex.
That is a...
Viserai is down to 5. Endless Arrow going back in hand. I believe he has an additional attack though that's not an arrow though. So I think we're gonna see a natty attack here. He took the damage.
Yeah, and Shane is popping that Bullseye Bracer. Oh wow, these arrows really are endless.
I don't like that he didn't take the Endless Arrow to first, because he could have. Now he showed that there's another one in hand.
Yeah, that's a bit of information that didn't need to be revealed.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see that pitched or something, just to keep the mystery.
Correct. Well, he's gonna force a block here now at the very least, because he's only at 5. There is a funny scenario where there's another Razor Reflex.
Yeah, and if so, that Endless Arrow would be able to pitch for it.
Nope, we're gonna see Endless switch out for the top of the deck. Will we see something spicy? It does have Dominate. Oh, nope, it's just a Scar for Scar.
Yeah, and that Scar for Scar is not going to have go again, thanks to its own ability at least.
And we just see a Snatch from hand.
Yeah, not necessarily the most powerful play. That card draw could be useful, though with the card already in Arsenal, Azalea's ability used, I'm not really sure how beneficial that on-hit is at this time.
Is there anything he could hit here that would be beneficial?
It would have to be... He's not going to have an action point after this. He doesn't have a way to give this go again, I think, without resources.
He does have a way to give it go again.
Oh, Tunic. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there was no... It wasn't in sight.
All right, well, it looks like he didn't have the third Razor Reflex in hand. That would have been a very fun way to end the game if it were the case. Now we gotta see, is Viserai going off? He kept all those cards, so you think he's got something spicy in the works for sure.
Well, so that's where it gets funky. I don't think he would have kept the cards, theoretically, if he had the Sonata. I figured he might just be trying to attack here because he knows he's on death's door. So he's just gonna... Oh, no, he is going off with the Scletta here. And he drew the third Sonata. What a jerk.
Yeah, so we have Sonata here. X is going to be 13, so a total of 16 cards off the top of the deck. He has 26 cards in the deck to reveal.
Yep. Read. Spellblade Assault. Whiff. Lead the charge blue. Whiff again. Read. Mavrian. Oh, man. Unmovable. He is running real dry right now.
Yeah, a lot of defense reactions in that deck. Really not proving too useful on this turn. Though he's got to have the attack somewhere.
No, he reached this bottom stack already. He has missed this entire thing besides the one Spellblade Assault. He has hit like a 5th defense reaction. He just got one card.
All right, well, we just had 16 cards revealed, one Spellblade Assault hit. Probably the most disappointing I have ever seen.
That's not 7 defense reactions. No, I think they got mixed in with the other stuff. This is what I meant by, like, the card quality left in the deck. That right there is how you would normally lose a game. He still has, though, 28 rune chance coming in, but he's at 1 life. And he only kept 1 card in hand and whatever's in the arsenal. He's got a Mauve effect floating.
Yeah, it looks like Shane indicating there that he doesn't have Arcane Barrier.
He doesn't. He took the 1. This would be the most savage way to lose. Not keeping track of the number left in deck. Oh, man. We got a free Spellblade Assault coming in here for 2 physical. And 28 rune chance?
Yes. So we're going to see Shane probably hit that minus button quite a few times, unless he decides to type it out.
I would type it out. Go straight to 10. He does get 5 rune chance on the back end.
Yeah, and it has go again thanks to Mavrian Skies.
Yes.
So an extra 5 damage from the rune chance, 4 damage from Sword. Coming in.
He's going to need to block the Spellblade Assault, too. Okay, yep. Yeah. We get a flock in front of the Spellblade Assault to block it, so the Mavrian doesn't trigger and make 2 rune chance.
Yeah, I think if Nick has an attack with Go again, that might be game. Just based on the amount of...
Nope. It's a Rattlebones.
Yeah, so that's going to trigger off the Mordred Tide, 2 more rune chants, bringing the rune chant count up to 7. If he plays something like a Swarming Gloomveil, that'll generate another rune chant, and then the 2 arcane damage from Rosetta Thorn are going to be lethal. Though he is out of resources, so he can't swing with the sword.
Oh.
Yeah, because that's a yellow Read the Runes, paying exact for the Rattlebones.
Yep. That's rather unfortunate.
So Swarming Gloomveil is going to be 4... with 7 rune chants coming in. Still lethal if not blocked, but...
Yeah, that Swarming's getting blocked.
Yeah, the question then becomes, will Shane be able to fire an attack that can get 1 damage off on his turn after defending?
So he's going to take the 7 arcane, go to 3. So he could arguably block with 1 card here, but then he has to kill.
He could also block with both of his equipment if he wants.
He blocks with 1 equipment here, and probably a card with 3 block from hand. The problem that's going to come up is that the Viserai is going to have 3 arcane next round. So as long as he gets to keep any of the 4 cards, he can swing in for lethal.
Exactly.
This means that right now he's going to need to represent a kill somehow.
Yeah, potentially using Azalea's ability to get a dominated arrow in is probably the most likely win condition I see. Though we do know Viserai is running a lot of defense reactions. If he draws another unmovable, that could be enough to just prevent the loss.
Yes.
So very intense right here. The game is coming down to this turn. Azalea's ability coming in, that Scar for a Scar going away. What will Shane top deck? And it's not an arrow card, so this is not going to get Dominate.
Looks like the Brave Force bracers cracking it caused massive issues. But there was no way to know what was going to happen there.
Yeah, it looks like Flock the Featherwalker is coming in for 5, revealing the Sleep Dart, showing that that is not going to be a Razor Reflex.
Indeed. So oddly enough, I wonder if Shane realized he could have Death Dealered to fail to go look at the top 2 to give himself a shot at an arrow.
That would have been an interesting move. Yeah, Death Dealer, you can use the ability even if you don't have the card. It's just an if you do draw. So
yeah.
All right, that's going to be the concession from Shane.
How to lose the saddest way to Eviscerai that missed on 16.
I've got to say, this has got to be the most exciting Azalea game I have seen, and a nice, interesting way to see Viscerai say goodbye to that Bloodsheath Skeleton in the foreseeable future. With this, it puts the record for this week between Hometown TCG Ascent and the Hyperloops at 4-1 in favor of Hometown TCG Ascent. However, both teams will still be making it to the final coming up next week, where we might be seeing a few fewer Azaleas and a few more of those top tier decks.
Yeah, you won't be seeing a troll deck. So it was a troll week for us.
Oh, is that so?
Our lineup was Katsu, Rhinar, Levia, Azalea, and Kano. If that's not troll week, I don't know what is.
All right, well, hopefully you all had fun on that, and hopefully all you viewers had a good time watching this today. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week for the final games in the Division 1 of the Competitive Team League. This is Andy Modell, joined by Joe Cullen of the Hyperloops.
Signing off.
Goodbye.